Hey everybody, this is Laura with McLeod Homestead. You've got me in a little bit of a different form today. I came home from work and I thought about making a video with you guys, and then I thought I really want to get in my comfy clothes and I just want to make my applesauce. So I got changed, threw my hair up, and then I started the process, and then I thought, no, I really should make a video. It's fall, it's that time of the year. We are making applesauce and many other items. And I said the heck with it. You guys are going to see me the way I am today after work, where I really don't care. So yesterday I went to the fruit stand that I go to. I got half a bushel of Cisco apples, and I got a half a bushel of Jacoba. I'm going to have to put a little indent in there on the type of apples these are. Now, obviously, I got an apple and I had to try each of them. This one, the lady swore that her grandmother uses for everything. Pies, applesauce, whatever. This is the apple she uses for it. When I tasted it, this apple has some tartness to it. The Cisco apple is also rated for applesauce, apple pies, all that stuff as well. However, when I ate this one, it's not as tart as this, but it has a little bit of sweetness to it. And that is more how I like my apples. So, that is what I am using. I'm mixing the two together, and I am making homemade applesauce, and I hope to get a minimum of 14 pints. And I only need pints because it's just me and my little guy. And let's be honest, I think I eat more applesauce than he does. So, I'm going to just kind of show you. This won't be long. It's not really difficult to do. Now, a lot of people, they like their applesauce chunky. I do not. I, in fact, have my little strainer, which will get all the seeds and the core and the skin, all that stuff out of it. And what will I do with it? I will take it up and dump it to the chickens. So let me show you right now what I've got going on. I am over here at my stove, and I put 8 of each kind of apples in this big pot, and I put maybe a half a cup of water in the bottom to keep it all from scorching. Now, as you can tell how soft it is, it's been cooking roughly about 20 minutes. I'm going to let them cook a little more because some of them are nowhere near as soft. But as you can see, you want to mix it every once in a while just to make sure none of it scorches. I've had that happen in the past. You want to get the ones that were down on the bottom up to the top, and the ones on the top down to the bottom so it can all cook. And that's really all that there is to this part. Nothing's added. It's just straight water on the bottom of the pot. The apple's in. I cook it on medium heat until it's nice and tender. So, when that's ready, I'll show you the next round. So you have to remember when you take the pot off the stove, this has been boiling, so it is very, very hot. But all you do with the mill is I just scoop a little bit at a time into it. And then we just start pressing it. You want to go backwards to loosen up any of the gunk that's stuck on it, that's keeping the applesauce from coming through. And if you want a thicker applesauce than what you're getting, when you go to start your apples on the stove, just put less water in it. The water is mainly to keep the apples from scorching on the bottom of the pan. I got a bunch that went down in there and I got to scoop that out. So other than a little time consuming, this really is not a difficult process. Now if you was to make chunky applesauce, you would want to take the core and the peel off before you put it in the pot. And then you would not cook it down as long. And you wouldn't run it through the mill. Now, a lot of times while I am doing this, I will have more apples on the stove cooking. I'm not in the mood to have a bunch of dishes to do tonight, so I am letting it take a little bit longer to cook this down versus standing in the kitchen and washing extra dishes. Because here in a little bit, while I'm cooking apples, I will be making dinner. Alright, so as you can see, I am not getting any more juice out of this. So all I am going to do is go backwards, kind of scrape it like this. And then I've got a container over here that I'm using that I will dump it into for the chickens. Now, if you don't have chickens, you can throw it in your garden for it to compost down.
Or if you have pigs, you can give it to your pigs.
Yes, you can give it to pigs. But this is what the applesauce is looking like so far. And I'm just going to continue this on. And I will bring you back after I get all the apples cooked. So I have one big bowl right now of applesauce, and this here is when you can add sugar and cinnamon if you'd like, or anything else. I'm going to taste it. I'm going to taste it. That's really good. Even, there's not a whole lot of tart to it at all. So even right now, I would eat this without adding sugar. Maybe a little cinnamon for a little flavor, but no, I don't see where that needs any sugar or cinnamon. But when I can my applesauce. I don't like to have that stuff in it anyways. I like to add it after I open the jar and put it into a bowl. Then I will adjust it to the taste of whoever's eating dinner with me. But let me show you how I put it in the jars. It's not complicated. I've got a sterile jar and I will just fill it to, I always do about 1 inch head space. I think if you look it up, it might say 1/4 of an inch head space, but I've got my paper towel. It's got white vinegar on it, so I'm just going to clean the head. And then I will just put a brand new lid on it. And we will tighten it down. And this one is all ready to go into a canner when we're ready to do that. So like I said, I'm just dumping some water in the bottom of the pan. I just take my apples. I don't core them, nothing. I'm just cutting them. And dropping them in. And I'm putting the same amount of each kind of apples in. So that way I can get pretty well even flavor. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One of the benefits of knowing which apple's which. And there we go. We got pot number 2 going. Just put the lid on and we'll check it here in a few minutes. Give it a stir. And when it's ready, we'll just start the process all over. I am getting ready to start canning some of the jars. I've got 8 pints. I've got 8 pints in here. And I've got a little over 1 inch head space of water on top of the jars. I will bring this up to a boil. Once it starts boiling, I will set the timer for 15 minutes. You process pints for 15 minutes and you do quarts at 25 minutes. Now that we've got a good rolling boil going, we will set the timer for 15 minutes. Alexa, set timer 15 minutes. All right, you guys really are seeing me at my finest. But it is pretty late. I finally got all the applesauce done. I still have probably 2 more rounds of apples to go if I want to make it into applesauce, but I'm thinking I might need to make some apple crisp, some apple pies, you know, something else, because don't mind my mess back there, but look at all my applesauce. I have 7 quarts, which I didn't intend to do at the beginning. And then I have 14 pints. My goal was to have at least 14 pints on the shelves for the winter. I definitely have that. I decided to go with quarts. We have the holidays coming up. We're going to have family get-togethers. I will definitely be able to use the quart jars. So I'm not going to lie, it also made it quicker for me because I was getting pretty tired. Just remember, if you process quart jars, it is 25 minutes versus 15 for the pints. I have this big container that is in the refrigerator. I did add cinnamon to this one, and my son thought that having it plain was a little bit too sour for him. So I did add a touch of sugar just to sweeten it up a little bit for him. All right, so who's ready to take a taste? I know I am. Delicious. We are definitely going to have a meal tomorrow where we get to have some of this delicious applesauce. All right, everybody. I've got to get to bed, work in the morning, but please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you on the next video. Toodles, everybody. Have a good night.